Here are some frequently asked questions about the National Service Scheme's operations.
What is the National Service Scheme, NSS?
The National Service Scheme is a youth-focused program of mobilization in aid of national development. The scheme was established by an Act of Parliament, Act 426 of 1980. It has its origins in the desire and demands of Ghanaian youth for early opportunities to participate in shaping the destiny of our country. NSS is designed to provide young Ghanaians with practical experiences otherwise unavailable in the classroom, yet needed to survive in the world of work and necessary for career planning as well as adulthood. Through the NSS program, service personnel have helped to combat hunger, diseases, ignorance, illiteracy, and shaped development of communities across the country.
Why must I do national service?
Apart from being mandatory, national service is basically about keeping alive our shared traditions of giving back to society in a manner that is truly meaningful for our collective well-being as a nation. As a national service person, you will generously give out your energy, talents, and expertise in support of community development as a show of appreciation for those whose many toils, sacrifices, gifts to our society have made the construction of our roads, schools, hospitals, factories, and community libraries, among several others, that have directly or indirectly contributed to your personal development. Beyond being your expression of gratitude, appreciation, and love for our country, it places you ahead in the job market.
Why is the National Service Scheme important?
NSS is important primarily because it offers Ghanaian youth the chance to enter the labor market through work in either the public or private sectors, pick business ideas, develop early contact with potential employers, reflect on career options, acquire practical on-the-job training, while contributing to socio-economic transformation development at the same time.
Who is qualified and eligible to do national service?
Every Ghanaian youth who attains 18 years and above is qualified to undertake national service. However, eligibility is presently limited to only young Ghanaians who are 18 years and above at the time of completing or obtaining their first tertiary education degree or diploma.
How are national service personnel recruited?
In November of every year, the NSS Secretariat obtains final year class list from various tertiary institutions in Ghana to generate pins for each prospective NSP on the list. These pins are only used for registration purposes.
How do I register to do my mandatory national service?
Once the pins are generated and distributed, each prospective NSP is then expected to proceed to any of the designated banks and pay the appropriate amount, currently 40 Ghana cedis. Upon payment, the online registration system automatically becomes activated for prospective NSP to register in order to be processed for deployment. Upon submission of your online registration, you will be assigned an NSS alphanumeric ID that is unique to you alone. This becomes your permanent NSS identification.
What is the difference between the PIN and the NSS alphanumeric ID?
The PIN has only one use, and that is to allow you to register in order for the NSS Secretariat to capture your details so that you can be deployed to undertake your mandatory national service. With the PIN, NSS is able to eventually tell how many prospective NSPs have registered to be deployed to undertake the mandatory national service. Once the online registration is completed, the PIN is deactivated and the alphanumeric NSS ID assigned and used when you are deployed.
Without paying the required registration fees, can I still register to do the national service?
Registration fees are used for online and manual processing of application requests, And this approach has so far eliminated the burden of prospective NSPs traveling from across the country to the NSS Secretariat to pick up application forms, completed, and travel back to submit with supporting documents.
What other information am I expected to provide for registration?
For your registration to be complete, you need to provide your National Identification Number, eSwitch number, and SNIT number if any.
I am finishing school. As someone on study leave and therefore expected to return to my employee after school, am I also required to do national service?
Yes, you are required to undertake your national service if you are 18 years and above. In filling the online application, ensure that you tick the study leave box so that you can be deployed to your original place of work to resume from your study leave, which will also count as your national service. It is important to note that once you are doing your national service as a study leave case, it is your employer and not NSS that will pay you. Any false declaration on the application form is a criminal offense punishable by law.
How long will it take for me to complete my national service?
Once deployed, you are expected to undertake your national service for a period of 12 months, with the final month as a paid leave period. Any person who fails to complete the required period of service will be deemed not to have done service at all and will suffer the consequences thereof.
When am I expected to start my national service after the registration, and when do I end my service?
National service begins on the first working day of September and ends officially on the 31st of August in the following year.
Do I get to choose where to do my national service?
No, NSS does not allow self-deployment. NSPs are expected to be in readiness to serve the nation anywhere they are deployed. Be open to new experiences and show willingness to draw new lessons during the service period. Thus, even though the NSS Secretariat tries to match the background of NSPs to places where their services will be most appreciated, NSPs are expected to accept wherever they are deployed as both an opportunity and a challenge, and in the spirit of patriotism.
Can I choose not to do the national service?
Proof of having done the national service using National Service Certificate or attestation letter from NSS is a required necessity for employment in any form. It is an offense to be employed without showing proof of prior participation in the NSS. Employers are required to demand NSS attestation or certificate prior to making hiring decisions in any application you submit to them.
How do I know where I am posted to for my national service?
Once you hear that the NSS Secretariat has completed the deployment of prospective NSPs, you can check where you are posted to either by looking out for master list of deployment in their tertiary institutions or simply text your NSS number, a short code to be provided in order to obtain prompt information about where you are required to do your national service. In the NSS schedule of activities, deployment of prospective NSPs will take place in May and June of every year.
Do I get paid during the period of my national service?
Yes, the government pays every NSP deployed to public sector user agencies and non-taxable allowance every month during the period they are engaged as service personnel. NSPs deployed to private sector user agencies are paid the same amount directly by their user agencies, who also pay 20% of the amount to the NSS. NSS allowance is reviewed periodically for upward adjustment. In appreciation of the sacrifices of NSPs, President John Mahama has recently authorized over a 100% increase in NSS allowances from 248 Ghana cedis to 350 Ghana cedis per month.
How is allowance paid, and how do I know when payments are done?
Payments of NSS allowances are effected through an electronic payment platform called eSwitch. During the registration, you will be required to provide your eSwitch account number to facilitate the processing of your allowances. NSS management is working out an arrangement to ensure you are notified via text messages whenever your allowances are paid. In the meantime, media announcements and other modern communication platforms will continue to be used for sharing information about your allowances. It is therefore important to also provide at least one reliable mobile phone number when filling the registration form.
Typically, what will I be doing during my national service period?
As a developing country, there are several sectors and areas to which our combined human energy and efforts are needed to increase our productivity and create opportunities for growth and employment. Thus, NSP are typically engaged in teaching and educational development in remote villages, support services for local administration in deprived communities, agriculture and agribusiness, afforestation, urban sanitation management, military service, and urban traffic control, among others.
Are there any personal benefits in doing national service?
Yes. In most cases, national service is your first job experience going into the labor market. It also allows you to relate some of what was learnt in school to real-life situations and places you in challenge of problem-solving environments that you can put your talents to real use. Furthermore, national service bridges the gap between you and employers and allows you to develop networks for your career aspirations.
What support will the NSS give me during the period of my national service?
NSS supports NSPs in any way humanly possible. NSS has offices in all the districts in the country to serve and assist you settle with ease into the communities where you are deployed. The NSS offices exist to listen to your experiences, challenges, problems, and to assist in solving them. If you have any special health needs, please inform your district NSS offices to assist you connect with doctors, nurses, and other medical officials as your condition may determine. Even though the NSS district offices are not in a position to provide accommodation for NSPs, they often liaise with chiefs and community leaders to ensure you have a worthwhile transition to the place of service. NSS also supports and promotes the activities of the National Service Personnel Association (NASPA) in every district across the country.
Can my previous employment be considered as national service?
No. The NSS has no internal mechanism for checking the veracity of claims to previous employment history. Besides, every national service experience must begin with a prior registration with NSS to undertake the mandatory service and be posted as required. This is why those completing their degree and diplomas from tertiary institutions are required to go through the registration process and are eventually posted to their original places of employment.
Can I defer my national service posting?
NSS does not encourage prospective registered and deployed NSPs to defer during their national service except in extreme circumstances of health conditions, supported by evidence from a qualified and certified medical practitioner. Consideration is also given to nursing mothers and pregnant women, but only when they apply for deferment. Where NSPs are compelled to defer due to postgraduate studies abroad, evidence must be produced to support why the permission being sought for deferment deserves consideration. In these cases, service can be deferred for not more than 2 years.
If I don't like the place where I am posted, can I request for reposting?
In the philosophy of NSS, there is nothing like "I don't like where I'm posted." Every place in Ghana deserves equal attention and consideration in the national development efforts. NSS works with NSPs to ease the challenges of settling in new environments, hence reposting is discouraged at all levels. From experience, NSPs tend to fall in love with the places where the NSS posted them, and this is especially so in the case of NSPs who are deployed to rural communities.
Can a person be posted to a private company to do national service?
Typically, private companies or non-subvented user agencies write to NSS requesting for national service persons. Such letters are expected to reach the NSS National Secretariat before the end of February in any given year. NSPs deployed on the basis of such requests are allowed to undertake their national service assignments in the private sector. NSS does not encourage private companies to request for specific NSPs. However, a general idea of qualification and background of personnel they need is necessary.
Which companies are referred to as non-subvented organizations or agencies?
These are organizations, companies or agencies that do not operate on subvention from the central government.
Can I decide not to take up my posting even though I registered and was being duly deployed?
Any Ghanaian eligible for national service who is deployed but is not available or does not report at his or her service post without prior permission within a period of 3 months after close of postings and without proper authorization is considered to have committed an evasion for which the appropriate section of the NSS Act shall be evoked.
What happens if I left my duty post prior to completing my national service?
Any NSP that takes up posting but does not complete the full period without proper authorization from the board is classified as a deserter and appropriate sanctions shall be applied against him or her. 3 months after desertion, the service person shall be declared an evader. Any national service rendered before desertion will be nullified and personnel on reporting back to the National Service Secretariat shall be made to start service afresh.
I have started work with a user agency prior to postings, deployment and intend to stay there for my national service. Is this allowed?
You are engaged in an offense called self-posting. An NSP who posts himself or herself to a user agency other than the one to which he or she was officially posted, either with or without connivance with the officials of the user agency, will not be recognized as having done national service and will be made to face the appropriate sanctions.
How do I prove that I have done my national service when I have completed it?
Once you completed your national service, a certificate will be issued to you specifying the details of your service to assure your prospective employers that you have successfully completed the national service and satisfied a major legal requirement for an unimpeded entry into the labor market. Where the certificate is not ready, the NSS Secretariat will give you attestation letters in lieu of the certificate. For further enquiries, visit www.nss.gov.gh or contact us on the following numbers on your screen or send us an email on info@nss.gov.gh.